Welcome to Stormwater Drainage Solutions. In this video, we're going to be talking all about Orangeberg drainage pipe. If you're a drainage nerd like I am, then I have a feeling you're going to enjoy this video. Let's get started. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing a little test, a crush test on this Orangeberg pipe. So after I get done showing you guys up close and personal about this pipe, I'm going to go ahead and stand on it and walk on it, and we're going to see what happens. But go ahead and bring that camera in here closer so you can take a look. So basically, Orangeberg is notorious for slowly becoming out of round over time and crushing in the ground. As you can see, this piece of pipe here that came out of the ground out of a job site, this was unrelated to the job we were doing. We were putting in downspout drains, but we just happened to dig up and come across this old sewer line here, and it was just a piece of pipe that was completely buried. But you can see how that pipe becomes out around over time, and this pipe is notorious for that crushing effect slowly happening, like paper folding in on itself. And the other thing that this pipe is notorious for is root intrusion, both at the joints and in the physical pipe itself. Now if you bring that camera over here, you can actually see these roots, how they start to grow inside the pipe and through the fibers. And you can get an even closer look as the roots actually make their way through the pipe itself and start to grow inside of it. So this pipe is notorious for failure. Let's talk a little bit about Orangeberg pipe, and let me give you some history and backstory on this pipe. So Orangeberg pipe was invented in the late 1860s. Now it was made out of a combination of wood pulp, asbestos fibers, and tar pitch all rolled together. Now initially it was used for a variety of applications and mainly for cable conduit lines. So it started to gain popularity for drainage lines during World War II and after World War II. So during World War II, iron was in short supply. Now, initially, drainage lines are made out of iron, out of cast iron. And during World War II, a lot of that iron was used for the war effort. So after World War II, the U.S. had a huge housing boom. The economy was doing great over here, and people were buying houses. Houses were being built. But there wasn't a lot of cast iron to go around, and the cast iron that we did have, it was very expensive. So this particular material gained a lot of popularity for being used in sewer lines because it was cheap to make and it did work. Now, it was promoted as a non-corroding pipe and also as a root-proof pipe and joint system, which that is completely false, as we know today, because roots just grow right through this pipe and its joints, and they get in there very easily. Now, as for it corroding, I haven't really seen too much corroding with this pipe, so it doesn't corrode too easily, but it's hard to say because the pipe fails, within 30 to 50 years. So it's hard to say whether it would have corroded like cast iron or not. But basically, cast iron corrodes at the bottom, and we call that channel rot. So what happens is chemicals make it down your drains, whether it's Drano or soaps or cleaning chemicals, bleach, whatever it may be, chemicals make it down your drains. And because water does not continue to flow in a sanitary system unless a shower is being ran or a sink or something like that for a long period of time, what can happen is these chemicals will settle at the bottom of a cast iron system, and those chemicals will start to eat away at that cast iron over time, creating a open channel at the bottom of the cast iron. So basically exposing the ground beneath that pipe in which that pipe is buried in. So we call that channel rot, and we used to see that a lot in cast iron systems, especially in ones that weren't pitched correctly or that had just settled over time with bellies. You would see it a lot with bellies because the chemicals could sit in there for a while and they would have time to work and eat away at that iron. So this pipe was promoted as a non-corroding pipe as well. But This pipe ultimately, it gained a lot of popularity during that housing boom after World War II. So it was installed for a lot of mainline sanitary sewer systems in homes. And now we know that it lasts roughly 30 to 50 years. Now, in the late 1970s, that's when this pipe started to get phased out because PVC came on the scene. It was a cheaper alternative, plastics, and it was a lot more durable for sanitary sewers. So we switched over to PVC basically. And this pipe was already starting to have problems around that time, and it hadn't even been in the ground or installed for very long. So it was already proven to be a very, very bad pipe to use. So that's just a little bit of history on Orangeberg pipe. And I'll be showing you some other interesting things in this video a little bit later on. All right, so we're gonna start this by, I'm gonna walk across this pipe. I don't think it's gonna crush down by just walking on it. Wow, I should jump on it. This one's significantly stronger. Is it still recording? You want me just to crush it? Wow.
Maybe you need better shoes.
Dang. This one's pretty tough. So what does that mean? So simply walking on Orangeberg does not crush it down. And here at Stormwater Drainage Solutions, whatever tests we perform, we want them to be as transparent as possible. We want to show you guys the exact same results that we are personally seeing out here in the test site or on the field. So the next step is we're going to try stomping on this pipe and we're going to see what happens. It's not going out around. Wow. It's still not going out around. So even stomping on it is not crushing it down. So what that tells me is that this pipe fails over pressure over periods of time of being in the ground. So, which there's tons and tons of camera snake inspection footage to show that that's what happens with this pipe. And there's lots of examples of it ripped out of the ground where it's just crushed. But that is very interesting that this is not just shattering by stomping on it. So the final test that we're gonna do is a brick dropping test. So this is an old busted block that I had laying around here. We're just gonna use this, and I'm gonna drop this from roughly chest high onto this pipe. We're gonna see what happens. We're also gonna drop this from the same height onto a piece of dual wall pipe just for comparison purposes. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Ready? No, definitely it put a crack in it, but it didn't shatter it. Okay, let's do it on the dual wall, see what happens. Maybe scuffed it a little bit, but other than that, it's fine. All right, well, we can't seem to get this this Orangeberg to crush. which is interesting because that piece crushed down really easily when I stepped on it. All right, so it put a hole in it. All right, so that concludes the crush test of this particular piece of Orangeberg pipe that we found on a job site. Now, I can't tell you exactly how old this piece was. The lot was roughly from the 1960s, so I'm assuming that this pipe is around that age. Now, back when I used to work on sanitary sewer systems, we would replace a lot of these mainline Orangeberg pipes that would run from the house to wherever the city main was. Now, usually it would be a cast iron main line coming out of the house, and then that cast iron would transition over to Orangeberg, and then eventually the Orangeberg would transition to either PVC if the line was replaced recently, or it would be an old terracotta clay city main. That's usually how the setups were. And it was always the Orangeberg that had to get replaced. The cast iron usually was okay. The clay was usually okay. Sometimes we had to replace the clay lines, but normally the Orangeberg was what was always failed. This stuff, I've never seen it actually in this good a condition on a job site. So this piece really surprised me. But I'm gonna go ahead and just roll this piece up, and we're gonna throw this away and get rid of it. The other thing I want to show you with this Orangeberg pipe is it wasn't just used for sanitary sewer systems. So I have two old advertisements, printed advertisements, that I'm assuming these are probably around 1950s era, just based on the attire of what they're wearing. And, you know, on the back of these, you know, if you read through some of this, it seems like this was after World War II, when World War II ended. So I'm assuming these advertisement clippings are around 1950s. And this one, I tried looking up this you know, $100,000 Mazola oil contest, you know, chances to win prize and stuff. I couldn't find anything on it. This egg beater, I mean, that looks pretty old. That looks like it's probably 1950s era. So I'm assuming that's, you know, that's when these advertisement clippings were from. Now, as you can see, we have advertisement for Orangeberg pipe here. So this right here looks like it's a sanitary sewer line that's being installed here, because we have the home back here. And it's funny, they have the guys labeled. So we have the builder, we have the architect, we have the plumber, we have the engineer. but look, we don't give any credit to the pipe layers. But, you know, so right here, as you can see, there's the house, and there's the downspout, and there's the downspout drain. So, I mean, they were putting in downspout drains in the 1950s, and they were using Orangeberg. So, you know, drain away that roof water with Orangeberg root-proof pipe. And there's that, you know, root-proof pipe, which we know is totally false. So even in the 1950s, we were promoting to get the roof water away from your home's foundation so it does not cause problems over time. Downspout drains are very important. Let me go ahead and read you the advertisement from this clipping for this particular pipe. So it says here, roof water splashing down causes damp basements, flooded crawl spaces, puddles in the yard. The modern drain line to carry this water away before it creates trouble is Orangeberg root-proof pipe. Modern because Orangeberg installs easily, economically. Taper weld joints seal root-proof with a few taps. No cement or compounds. Light 8-foot lengths are easy to handle, save costs. Lines 50 years old, operating like new today. Prove you can install Orangeberg and forget it. Over 250 million feet are in service from coast to coast. Building, buying, or modernizing this year, ask your contractor to install Orangeberg. It will save you trouble and money. Well, we know a lot of those claims in here are just simply not true, especially because this pipe has a tendency to fail within 30 years. Some of it may last 50 years, but from what I've seen out in the field, most of it wasn't lasting 50 years. I'll do this one over here as well. Sorry about the shadows. I don't have the best lighting in here yet. But I think you can pretty much pause the video and you can read through that, you know, if you're interested in that. But I thought these were pretty interesting. So, you know, why men who know building use and recommend Orangeberg root-proof pipe. And we know that is totally false now. Now, obviously, I wouldn't crush that pipe out there without getting me a sample. So, obviously, I cut a sample out of the middle of that pipe. This is the same pipe that was crushed down outside. Now, this particular one, it's hard to tell, but I Googled it and I researched it and I found out. So this particular one was made by Bermco, and it says Bermco sewer pipe right here. And then here's the coding number underneath it. So I'm not really sure what the A stands for. If anybody knows what the A is, let me know. If you're an old timer and you used to work with this pipe, I'm really curious to know. So the very last thing that I do want to show you before I end this video is I was lucky enough to actually find one of the cup links to this pipe on that same job site. Now, I didn't get footage, unfortunately, of the cup link coming out of the ground because it was kind of just a random, all of a sudden we found it type of deal. And it came out not too far away from this piece of pipe. But as you can see, look at the cup link. Look how deformed and out of round that cup link is. It won't even fit on the end of the pipe because of how out of round it is. But this is the same exact cup link that's actually right here in this advertisement, which is actually kind of cool. So I thought that was pretty neat. Unfortunately, we didn't find any more of the fittings. So we didn't find any of like the elbows or the 45s or a Y. That would have been really cool to find a Y. But yeah, we didn't find any of those. We just found the pipe, that piece of pipe, and this cup link. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It really supports us. It supports the channel. It helps out what we do. If you need exterior drainage, yard drainage, whether it's residential or commercial, any kind of storm drainage in the Tampa Bay area, give us a call at 813-614-3456. Stormwater Drainage Solutions, we got you covered. We can design any kind of storm system that fits your needs. And until next time, this is SWDS signing off.